Hi, so I've given you the breakdown on Mut and Sekhemkhet, their backgrounds historically and where they fit in and how they were assimilated. And now we're going to look at the Temple of Mut in the precinct of Mut at Waset, Thebes, Luxor, Egypt, North Africa. The precinct of Mut, Waset, Thebes, Luxor, Egypt, North Africa. So let's have a look at the panorama plan of Karnak and the Temple of Mut. So out of Khonsu's gateway at Karnak, Khonsu would journey down to that T-junction and then visit the Temple of Mut that way. Amun-Ra came out of the 10th pylon down that Sphinx Alleyway and entered the precinct of Mut. And then at the T-junction of where Khonsu entered into the complex, that carried on down to the southern harem, Luxor Temple. Now, the temple was closed for many years while excavations and conservation was underway. Also, 15 years ago, during the presidency of President Mubarak, Luxor was given the go-ahead to reinstate the Sphinx Alleyways. So many buildings were compulsory purchased and demolished to try and recreate the landscape of antiquity. And that's been ongoing for about 15 years. About 5 years ago, the local site inspectors got so sick and tired of foreign visitors who had studied ancient Egypt, turning up at Karnak Temple asking for special permission to visit the Temple of Mut, that they installed a ticket office at the Temple of Mut, and now you can go and visit freely. You don't need special permission anymore. So from the 10th pylon, you got this Sphinx Alleyway to the Temple of Mut, and no doubt when you visit, the taxi driver will probably stop on the bridge and you'll have to walk down into the alleyway to get into the main temple. At A is a small way station built by Thutmose III of the 18th dynasty. So this is where priests would take a rest. So remember, they're carrying a wooden shrine, these priests. It's a wooden boat with a square box on top. And they're doing this in June, July and August when it's like 40 in the shade. So that's why they needed these way stations to go in and have a rest, to get out the sun. The evidence of way stations all over Karnak Temple indicates that it was a very hot, hard job being one of these priests carrying this solar bark around the temples and in between temples, which is why he needed way stations. At B on the plan is an alabaster shrine. So it's a giant block of alabaster. Now, what's so special about calcite alabaster? Well, when you illuminate it, it glows. It's really an amazing stone. So the idea was the sun reached inside and it would glow inside. So you'd have this glowing image inside this shrine. Amazing. So you enter through the complex, so you've got the fortified pylons to keep out chaos. Chaos is outside the temple, harmony is inside the temple, Mart. So you've got that equal, you've got to have good, you've got to have the opposite of good, otherwise life gets boring. So that's what Mart was, a balance. Inside the temple complex at D is a temple to the lunar god Khonsu as a child, and it's all text and pictures about circumcision. Now if you have a look at the plan, there's a temple on the hill, and it's ongoing excavation, but I think that temple was where the local lads had to go at 14 and 15 to be circumcised so they could be men. That's what I think that temple was used for. It's outside the precinct. It's close proximity to the temple of Khonsu inside the precinct. And remember, the public can only go inside this this temple during the month of June, during the festival of intoxication. So I think that's why that temple was outside. It was outside there to provide a place where young lads became men. At sea is the main temple of Mutsakamket. So you've got that barrier again, that fortress pylon, and inside, right at the back, you'd have the Holy of Holies. Now, I'm not kidding you, it's in a ruinous state. This is ongoing conservation and reconstruction, and it costs a lot of money. So it's going to be many years before parts of this temple are rebuilt. Now, behind the main temple is the sacred lake of purification. So any attendants, priests who are maintaining this temple for 11 months of the year, would purify themselves every day in that sacred lake. So they shaved off all their hair and then they carried out their duties. The rituals of this temple are only done by royal women of the royal family. So these are the attendants of the temple. We don't know what sacrificial demands were made by the goddess Mut at her temple. Maybe it was very similar to other deity temples. At the beginning of the day, a statue was taken out of a wooden shrine in the Holy of Holies. Incense was burnt, sacrifice was made, offerings were made, and then it was placed on a pedestal outside of immediately outside the Holy of Holies. Remember, you're not going to get any visitors coming to this temple, so there's no need to put it into a bark shrine and take it round the open court. This is just used by the royal women of the royal family and during the months of June. And it's obvious to me that Hatshepsut during the 18th dynasty was the one quite influential at creating this new festival in June. Well, 20th dynasty, Ramesses III. Yep, he built a small temple inside this complex. So you weren't going to outdo him. And he's got statues of himself everywhere. So that was Ramesses III. He had a presence. He needed a presence. He was trying to live up to Ramesses II of the 19th dynasty. So remember what happened at this temple during the month of June. They opened their gates. They provided bread and beer for the public. And it was a festival of intoxication to recreate Sekhemkhet, finding the lake of beer at the Fayum, getting completely drunk and waking up, not knowing that she was supposed to be decimating mankind. So that's what the festival was about. And I think it was really created during the reign of Hatshepsut. So it would have been party time, really is party time. So let's think about Waset then. So June, they got this festival of intoxication. July, they got the Feast of the Valley going on. And in August, they got the Feast of Opet. It's clear to me that Waset was really a party town 3 months of the year. It was the Ibiza of ancient Egypt. Now, that brings us to the end of the tour. If you'd like to support this project, there's information on the next page at GoFundMe. Small donation, even £1, would be really appreciative. The idea is to go to Egypt and make a video tour on site, which you can download onto your phone and use it as a tour guide around this temple, showing you all the little bits of information that every tour guide would miss. So stay safe, bye for now, and I'll see you soon.